Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast for today, Wednesday, January 20th, 2016. I'm Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. A new entity will be legislated to perform the activities that hitherto had been undertaken by the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, SIDF. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris made that announcement yesterday, Tuesday, January 19th, during the Prime Minister's first press conference for 2016.
This new entity, of course, will operate in a restructured and more accountable framework. We expect that the legislation will ensure that the new entity will have an accountability relationship to the People's Parliament. The asset that had been part of the business of the SIDF was the people's asset, the people's citizenship, the people's patrimony. And therefore, it fell under the realm of public monies, and it ought to have had that accountability relationship with the Parliament. We would want to ensure there is conformity with Section 69 of the Constitution regarding the use of public monies. As part of the fresh start to the restructured entity, we will ensure compliance, conformity with the Constitution. And we will give this new entity a clear scope of work and areas of engagement. This will be one effort to prevent the perfidious and squandermania of the public resources.
According to Prime Minister Harris, the Cabinet has determined that in the interim it will put a board of councillors in place.
Last time I had reported that Dr. Robertine Shadderton was acting as the secretary. We have revised that through the National Trust. The board has now been put forward by the National Trust, which is the founder, comprises Dr. Robertine Shadderton in a new role of chairperson, Maclo Taylor as councillor, Leon Lescott as councillor. A secretary is to be appointed. Again, according to the laws governing the SIDF, that person will have to be a service provider, and the board then is working on dealing with that special case.
The naming of the Board of Councillors now provides for the effective management of the SIDF, the pursuance of those activities for which only a board could properly engage.
The general public, in my view, wants the board to give priority attention to ensure that the long overdue audited financial statements are available as soon as possible, and to conduct the necessary evaluation of SIDF's involvement in several projects, some of which I've named before, and several other programs and activities, including investigating potential misfeasance or malfeasance by the former Board of Councillors.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, the Honorable Mark Brantley, was a special guest on the Government of National Unity's radio and television program Working for You today, Wednesday, January 20th, 2016. Minister Brantley spoke to a wide range of issues of national importance and interest, including the status of St. Kitts and Nevis as an uncooperative jurisdiction by the European Union, negotiations and signing of tax information exchange agreements, and alternative arrangements to initiate the process to be removed from this list, pending discussions and strategy designed to engage with Canada to review the revocation of the visa waiver, new and pending applications for airlift into the Federation, and new code-sharing arrangements between JetBlue and Seabourn and Winair and their international partners and prospects for travelers to and from St. Kitts and Nevis. Minister Brantley also shared his vision in the Transformational Team Unity Administration as it approaches its first anniversary. Working for You is broadcast live every Wednesday on ZIZ, Win FM, and Sugar City Rock from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Working for You is rebroadcast on Thursdays from 7:30 to 9 a.m. on Freedom FM and 10:30 a.m. to noon on Von Radio. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force yesterday, Tuesday, January 19th, received a donation of equipment from St. Kitts Marine Works to aid in combating crime on the island. Representing St. Kitts Marine Works was owner Reginald Francis.
I'm very, very pleased to be here today to do the first handover of some equipment which we got for the police force. It's very modern technology. It's going to be used for aiding crime solving, deterring crime, and my company, we're going to be sponsoring the training for 2 individuals to get trained in using this equipment. And this is all part of the handback we're giving from St. Kitts Marine Works to the Nevis government, and later on we'll be doing some to the St. Kitts government as well to say thank you. Like I said, we are going to include training for 2 individuals to operate this equipment, and we hope it could be really put to good use.
Accepting on behalf of the Nevis Island administration was the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who thanked St. Kitts Marine Works for its timely donation.
I believe the policemen here on the island of Nevis and the entire division, that is, would find this piece of equipment a meaningful piece of equipment to do their job. And as I said before, it is a piece of equipment that is meant to surprise many persons who have intention of doing things that are not consistent with the law. With that said, I want to thank you once again, Mr. Francis, and I also want to now hand this over to Inspector Bertie, who is receiving on behalf of the Nevis Division. And Mr. Bertie, I'm going to implore upon you to take very good care of this piece of equipment and use it to the benefit of not only the police force, but the entire island of Nevis, because I do believe it is a piece of equipment that can be used throughout the entire island of Nevis, and it would be something that I believe you'll be thankful for when it's all said and done, since your work will be made much easier.
Minister Jeffers then handed over the equipment to Inspector Conrad Bertie, who accepted on behalf of the police force.
On behalf of the Commissioner of Police and the rank and file of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force and the Division community on a whole, today we wish to thank you for your donation towards the police force in their crime-fighting efforts. Our theme for the Nevis Division is fostering community relations to ensure crime prevention. That is our theme. And so, with your timely donation, we will assure you that we will put this to good use and that you would, of course, in the near future, be seeing results from the Nevis Division.
Yesterday's donation to the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force was the second of 2 donations made by the St. Kitts Marine Works as part of its community outreach initiative. The first donation was made to the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services. Still to come.
And this session is intended to be an educational and informative one as it relates to the prostate.
The details after this break.
Don't bother lick too much of that, you know.
Because it has in wine?
Yes. And if you drink alcohol or do drugs, you may do things that you don't want to do and I don't want you to do.
Yes, Mother, I know.
Listen, I am just trying to protect you. If you were a grown woman, it would be different, but you're not. These substances can cause various illnesses, impede judgment, and encourage bad decisions. Remember, you matter.
Yes, Mother, I know. Okay, I know.
Welcome back. The Social Services Department, in collaboration with its Men's Forum, will be hosting an educational information session at the Red Cross headquarters in Charlestown tomorrow, Thursday, January 21st at 6 p.m.
We will be having Dr. Dwayne Thwaites, who's no stranger to us here on the island of Nevis, and this session is intended to be an educational and informative one as it relates to the prostate and ensuring that men are aware of all of the concerns that normally exist regarding the prostate and to be adequately informed about it, and in the effort of trying to prevent prostate cancer.
Counselor in the Social Services Gender Affairs Division, Wayne Maynard, is encouraging the public to attend.
We're encouraging men all throughout the island to be there tomorrow evening at the Red Cross building at 6 p.m. For this information. The key theme for this session is early detection is key, and we want folks to be able to come out and to be well aware of and have all the adequate information necessary to be able to guard against prostate cancer and all of the negative effects that can result from that.
Counselor in the Social Services Gender Affairs Division, Wayne Maynard. Travel journalist Andrea Poe has pointed the small island of Nevis as one of the Caribbean's most important sea turtle protection programs thanks to its dedicated army of volunteers. While visiting Nevis recently, Poe and her 9-year-old daughter tracked endangered sea turtles in the moonlight on small isolated beaches on Nevis, along with volunteers from the Nevis Turtle Group. In her piece for the Huffington Post titled "Caribbean Islands Protect the Sea Turtle," Poe says the Four Seasons Resort, the low-key luxury retreat where they stayed, helped connect them with the organization. Since 2006, the Nevis Turtle Group has worked with the Four Seasons Resort and the Sea Turtle Conservancy on a research project to study the migration patterns of the critically endangered hawksbill turtle along with the leatherback and green turtle, all of which nest along the Nevis coast. Nesting information along with information on the movement of the turtles is collected. Turtles are tagged and information on predators and poachers is also assembled. Additionally, every year the Four Seasons sponsors several transponders that help track sea turtles in the wild, Poe tells her readers. Each summer the resort hosts a fun event called the Tour de Turtle, where hotel guests and volunteers line Pinnis Beach to cheer their release of the tagged sea turtles. And that concludes this evening's presentation of the Nevis Newscast. I'm Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing. Good night.